So after autocrossing for about 3 years in my M3, I decided to change things up a bit and try autocrossing my Toyota Sienna minivan. I was always wondering if I learned enough in those 3 years to not be the last one driving a big and slow and heavy car. So let's look at some technical data first. So the M3 is about 3,600 pounds, 425, 430 horses. It's got a manual gearbox. I am running usually Bridgestone RE71 tires, 275, 35, 18. It does have quite a bit of camber, about -3.5, maybe -4. And it's got a pretty aggressive track alignment. It's on coilovers, JRZs RS1, single adjustable with 21 clicks. So it is set up for autocross and track. So 0 to 60 in, I don't know, 4.2 seconds, whatever the data is. And let's move on to the minivan. This is my Toyota Sienna. And as far as technical data goes, it's about 4,600 pounds, so it's about 1,000 pounds more. It's running BF Goodrich Advantage TA tires, which have a treadwear rating of 660, 235, 60, 17. So they are much narrower, much harder, much less sticky. Of course, everything on this thing is stock, except for the banner on the windshield that I put just for the autocross, so I can have more horsepower. As far as horsepower goes, 265 horses, 0 to 60 in 9.5 seconds. And that about covers it. So I actually am filming this after having autocrossed. And one of the things that I was worried about was the tire wear and sidewall rollover when I was driving. Turns out it doesn't actually look bad at all. I mean, you can see it a little bit torn up from the surface, but there is no chunking that I can tell, and there didn't really roll over all that much, or if it did, it took it like a champ. There's no really visible damage. So I'm actually quite happy with that. I was a bit afraid. I was running with 35 psi all around, and in the morning after every run I actually had the guy who was working the start line look over the other tires to make sure that I'm not tearing them up really bad. So let's take a look at the video of me driving, and then we will talk about the experience of actually driving this minivan and any tricks that I apply to the course, having autocrossed for 3 years now. So let's talk about driving the minivan. It is a heavy car. It has very slow acceleration. It's on slippery, hard tires, so it does not have much traction. So the goal here was basically to maintain as much speed as possible at any given time. Every time you make a mistake, you really feel it. In the M3, if you go off the line or if you make whatever mistake it is, it takes, you get punished a couple tenths of a second maybe. Here, the punishment is in seconds. It's 1 second, 2 second. You really feel it. So that was actually one of the benefits of driving it, because it really highlighted the importance of preserving speed, carrying as much of it as possible, and looking far ahead, placing the car where you want it to be. So some of the tricks that would trip up a novice on this course, um, well, actually, we'll go through them. So let's start with the very beginning of the course, which is the start line. It's set up in a 90-degree turn. So normally you would feel that, okay, I'm going to go straight and I'm going to make a 90-degree turn and go forward. in reality, what you want to do is actually make this a big arc, as big as possible. So the 90-degree really becomes sort of like a 60-degree turn. You set up slightly at an angle going into this turn like that, and then you want to hit you want to be close to the outside cone at the very start where the timing light sits. And you don't have to be going straight at this point. You can actually be going a little bit outside. So basically, you maximize this arc and try to put as much speed as possible there. So let's take a quick look. So you can see that I'm actually facing at an angle here. And let's get going. So here, and I am going sort of outside of this box. I'm getting close to this cone here and still facing forward instead of along with the other line of cones. And now I am getting close to this one. This is just a regular apex here on top. That first cone there really didn't matter. And now we are looking ahead at this sharp turn to the left. So what you want to do here is you don't want to run directly at this cone, but you want to get a little bit lower on the other hill. So then you can maximize that turn and start heading towards this gate. So the eyes are basically at this cone. And again, just like at the other start of the course, you don't have to be going parallel to these cones. You can hit it straight out and make this a nicer, bigger turn. So at this point, what I'm really starting is one gigantic turn here. This is all one smooth move instead of going straight. So here hitting this cone, and my eyes right now are actually looking at searching for a gate over here. So I am going over the hill and I am looking at these gates right here. This is where I want to be. I want to be close to this cone. So that's going through this gate, hitting this cone on the left side, and then starting the turn. The moment I hit this gate, my eyes are already looking towards the far left direction because the slalom starts over here. And my goal at this point is not really to go faster this turn, getting close to these cones, but to set up the entry to the slalom properly so I can carry a lot of speed through it. So we're going through this. And what I want to do is I want to enter this cone right here, pretty parallel to it, so then I can get through the slalom quickly. So there it is. And at this point in the slalom, I just want to do the regular backsiding of the cone. So turn early. So when I'm hitting this cone, I'm actually going already in this direction. So here's one backside, here's another backside. And backsiding is important because when you exit this slalom, you have this right turn that you want to start applying throttle as early as possible. So the quicker you get done with this cone, the faster you can exit the slalom. At this point, your slalom is over. This is just a turn. So once we get through this, I am looking at this gate over here. Because I want to get through this gate, I want to get close to um, this cone, making this the end of my arch. And then I want to actually get over on the right side to go through the other hinge over here at full speed. What you normally see when somebody's doing autocross for the first time, they go straight, they slow down a lot, squeeze in through the pinch at a sharp left turn, and then start accelerating. Whereas you can actually just go a little bit to the right and carry full speed through this pinch. So there's really no need to slow down at all. If you look at my speedometer, it stays at about 42 miles per hour. So full speed through this gate, and now I am searching towards the end of this turn again. So carrying the other speed, accelerating even, and then I am looking already, trying to get through this gate, and this is another long sweeper. So this is basically still trying to make one smooth turn on this side of the course. So as soon as I'm over here, my eyes are already looking at the cones right there, because what I want to do is I want to carry through this gate, and then I want to be on the right side of this gate. So my left turn can be as wide as possible because things get really tight here. So I am not rushing towards this cone. I'm going on the other left side here and basically start accelerating, carrying as much speed as possible through this thing and accelerating past this cone. And that leads to another slalom. So I want to also set up the entry to this slalom as well as possible. So making this turn and then looking for the entry to the slalom and trying to backside again. And here I was actually a little late. I was carrying a bit too much speed, so I took this cone a little late. And over here, as I'm going around this, I'm starting to look for the other next gate on that right side. So looking at the other exit, and the same trick as we did over here, I want to be on the right side of this gate so I can make a wide turn around this cone. So starting to turn, and now at this point, it's basically just a mad dash to the other finish line with the other throttle fully down. So how did I do? I was in the last. I can probably claim credit for fairly beating two novices. One was in a Honda, was one in a BMW, one was in a BMW 340. I think the Honda was their first autocross ever. 340 was their second autocross ever. So it really goes to underscore that it doesn't really matter what car you start with. If you want to learn how to drive faster, you can bring anything you have and learn those tricks on how to look ahead, how to set up for the different patterns on the other course, and just become a better driver. And to those guys that I beat, please don't get discouraged by getting beat by a minivan. You are in the right place. You're learning to drive, and you will become faster if you keep showing up. Thanks for watching.